just had someone cut off the lock on one of our sample sites and put their own lock on it. And then I need to talk to him about that too because at first I was thinking he sees this, we have labels, all our sample sites are labeled, but their code, their numbers, they don't know this count on it. But on our old A-locks, it says CWS on it. So they cut it off thinking they said that they thought it was part of their property. Yeah. Yeah. Then I walked all in there around in my head and it's like, well, maybe we don't want to cut down water because some of these, if someone really wants to do that, they're like, we also need more source to do it. Like, give them all sample sites. I haven't gone too far, but yeah, I was going to talk to her about maybe. Usually don't have people just going around cutting source.
You know what I just learned probably this year that A-logs, you know, every district has their own key system. A-logs are the same across the country. An A-log, RDOM is the same as here.
Yeah.
So if you didn't hear the conversation, they're having some internet. That's not on the record, right? He said he was going to wait on the mics till they get it up to run. Is there somebody to check?
Let me send you an email with the photo of the type that I want to search on. Nobody up there changing. Everybody pointed to you. I went to, I talked to Ronnie from safety, and you asked us, you go to approval, and then it came to your name, and I thought, oh, we'll see tomorrow. We could do something really minor, and like, if they're concerned about it, we could all do it. I have places that aren't
Just go get an airline special, try it out, see how it works. I will. See, like I said, I really think I'm sure 7 months.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I sent them to myself. All right.
Because what I just said, they said, okay, what if it fails, it's crashes, I'm not talking about a big one. They have these Spanish ones. That's hilarious. Because last year we had to literally, every tank would take 6 or 7 kilometers for the state and then send them different steps. I still have it, it was marvelous. It took us.
That's exactly what they're on.
Yeah. They work. Good. It took us tons of money. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Tired of us? Not nearly. So do we have live Zoom or? No. Okay. No Zoom, no YouTube. But we're gonna be recording most of after the meeting. Okay, that's, okay. I guess they can't ask questions online.
There never has to be a live stream, it just has to be recorded, that's the legal requirement, we go above.
Are you guys ready to go or you need a minute? Good. All good. We're good? Are the mics live? Test your mics, everybody. Everybody good? For those of you who've been off for a while, the green light indicates your microphone is on. Yours doesn't go green? Push and hold.
There it is,
You
finally.
have to push and hold.
Finally, it went green.
Push and hold.
No, I had to push it about 6 times. but it went
Really?
green, Yeah.
Yeah, you got to hold it down. That's the problem. They're very finicky. All right, let's get this show on the road. Sorry for the delay. Not much we can do there. I am going to open the August 7th, 2025 meeting of the Los Altos Planning Commission. Normally I say, Taylor, could you please establish a quorum? But I guess I will say, Nick, could you please establish a quorum?
Yup, wearing my fourth hat tonight. All right, Commissioner Mensinger,
Present.
Commissioner Steinle,
Here.
Commissioner Ahi,
Here.
Vice Chair Roche,
Here.
and Chair Beninado.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Our first order of business is to receive comments from members of the public on matters that are not on the agenda. Just a reminder, we can only take public comments from people who are present. Anyone who wishes to speak about an item that's on the agenda, namely the project item number 2, needs to wait until that agenda comes up. And if you'd like to speak on something not on the agenda or on the agenda, please fill out a speaker card. It helps with the minutes. And then finally, we are not allowed to respond to you. So asking us questions and expecting us to respond doesn't work very well. So we can't act on anything that's not on our published agenda tonight. So I will open public comments for items not on the agenda. Are there any comment cards?
No comment cards for items not on the agenda.
Okay. I will close public comments for items not on the agenda. Let's move on to the consent calendar. We have one item on consent tonight, which is the minutes from our June 5th meeting. Any questions from the commissioners on the minutes? No? All right. Any public comments on the consent calendar?
No comments.
Okay. Then I will close public comments on the consent calendar. Can I please have a motion?
I'll move that we approve the consent calendar.
Is that on tape? Yep. Is there a second?
Second.
All right.
All right, Commissioner Mensinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Steinle,
Yes.
Commissioner Ahi,
Yes.
Vice Chair Roche,
Yes.
Chair Beninado,
Yes.
carries unanimously.
Thank you. All right. We will move on to the public hearing. We have one public hearing tonight, which is item 2 on the agenda, design review and conditional use permit for 1001 Fremont Avenue and 1579 Miramonte Avenue. We will first receive staff's oral report, which supplements the written report that's in the meeting packet. Then commissioners can ask clarifying questions of staff or the applicant. After commissioner questions, we'll receive public comments on staff's recommendation. And then after public comments, we will move on to discussion and a vote. So is the applicant here tonight somewhere? You're the applicant? Okay, great. So let's have staff present item number 2. I think it's Stephanie, right? All right.
Yes, good evening. My name's Stephanie Williams, Deputy Director in Development Services, and I will be presenting tonight on this project. The item before you is an application from Cal Water for a development, on Fremont Avenue and Miramonte Avenue. So the project site is located at the northeast corner of Fremont and Miramonte in the CN zoning district and is currently developed with a vacant 2-story commercial building previously used as the U.S. Bank and a parking lot currently utilized by Cal Water. The site is surrounded by Permanente Creek to the east and commercial uses on the remaining 3 sides.
We can barely hear you up here. I don't know if is it working?
Is that better?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
The project proposes to establish a public utility use at the site for the city's water supplier, Cal Water, which would include conversion of the existing commercial building to an administrative office use and minor exterior and interior modifications, and the construction of a new storage building to house equipment, parts, and supplies, and modifications to the parking lot, including new driveways, fencing, and landscaping. New curb, gutter, and sidewalk would also be installed along Miramonte Avenue, where none currently exists along the property frontage. The project complies with the Neighborhood Commercial General Plan Land Use Designation and CN Zoning District Design Control and Development Standards. The project is categorically exempt from CEQA pursuant to Section 15332, which is applicable to infill development projects in urban areas less than 5 acres in size. And this concludes staff's presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and the applicant team is available as well.
All right, great. Does the applicant present also, or no? I never remember.
I think it would be better if they did because the questions might be answered either by Stephanie or by the applicant. So,
Do we typically do that?
Yeah.
You typically ask them if they
Okay.
have any
Do
presentation.
you have any presentation tonight for us, or just available for questions?
Just available for questions.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Well, why don't we, any commissioner questions?
I do have a few questions then.
Okay,
and
go ahead.
I think it actually may be for you. So what you might want to do is come up to the podium here, and if that mic is on, it goes up and down if you want. So both the mic and the podium will go up and down, so you can make it a great height for you. Can we hear you?
Testing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. And I have a few questions that you may or may not know the answer to, and if you don't, that's fine, because they're about what the arborist said, and you may know only what that says. First of all, just to confirm, Cal Water owns the trees on the creek side, behind the wood fence? Or whose trees are those actually?
The property line does extend into the creek behind, so part of those trees are within the property.
Okay, so you own them.
Yes.
Okay. And I noticed in the arborist report that there were 2 trees that were rated as being in poor condition, and they both happen to be back there, which is why I'm asking about those trees. And they're the ones that are on the north end of the array of trees. There's an acacia tree and an elderberry bush tree, whatever you want to call it. First of all, what is the meaning of poor in this context? To your understanding, and again, you're not the arborist, but to your understanding, if any, what would that indicate to us?
I do not have an answer for that. I am assuming, based on the arborist report and the review of the existing trees, it was resulted that the tree was in poor health.
Right, but it is still indicated to be retained.
Yes.
Because there are some trees that are coming out as well.
Yes.
Of the total project. And my question is, if the condition of those trees is not particularly good, and let's say 3 years from now they are in very bad health and need to come out, would it not make sense, and this is something the arborist may have to opine on, to take care of them now while you have the chance, because you're going to be putting up a new fence in the back and all that kind of thing, and do that. And this is something that can be worked out with staff. I mean, they can do that. But that was a question I had. Okay, and I would consider, because if 2 years from now you come back and say you need to change the trees, it's going to be unfortunate. It might happen, but if we can avoid that, maybe we should. Okay, so if you would do me the favor of checking on that and with the arborist and see what he has to say, and then check with the city staff, and between you'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. The other another couple of questions, and these were things that were raised in communications to this commission by members of the public. Did you happen to see those? Were they shown to you, or do you?
I don't believe so.
You may not have. They're for us, but these are questions that they raised, and I wanted to get a chance to talk about them a little bit. I want to talk, there was some concern about the gate that's going to be on the Fremont Avenue side, the access to the bank building, and then some other concerns about the fences, et cetera. First of all, is anybody actually working in the bank building right now?
No.
No, okay, it's completely unoccupied. You're going to take it over and make it look wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Is there a vault? Did you check and see if they left behind a couple of piles of cash? No?
It's all cleared.
I would. Okay. Now, the gate is both gates, the one on Miramonte and the one on Fremont, will be locked gates, or lockable gates, let's put it that way. Single move back and forth type gates.
Yes.
What will be, how are the gates going to be deployed on the Fremont, because this is where the question really was, on the Fremont Avenue side? For example, will the gate be open during the hours of operation, which you've indicated are basically an 8 to 4 kind of time frame, Monday through Friday? Or how's that going to work?
The logistics of the hours of operation for the gate to be open, right now we do have it on a sensor responder, so that way when a car arrives, the gate will open. But I don't have information on if the gate will be open during business hours for any customers that need assistance, or if the gates will be locked and a customer will have to be badged in to get the gate to open.
And your employees all have badges or ways of getting in without having to make a call, is that correct? Yeah, okay, yeah. A key fob or something, or yes, okay. But you also have a Knox box there for?
Yes, Knox box is noted on the plan.
Right, but that's for the fire department and the police department and other people who need to be able to get into various parts of the property, not just the front gate. Okay. And there's also a mention of a keypad on the Fremont Avenue side. Is that different from the Knox box, or is that just another way of referring to the Knox box?
I believe I do not know the purpose of the keypad. It might be for after hours access, but we haven't really fleshed out the fuel security component of the gate and access yet.
Okay, but that would be for your employees. It would not be for members of the public. And then the last question I have on this is who exactly is the public that comes to see you? Is it ratepayers? Is it who calls on you?
It would be more of like the general contractors who have projects within the area and some residential.
Some ratepayers. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But most of us. Okay. But you can tag team if you like.
Yeah.
Can you come to the microphone so we record everything? Thank you.
We have a limited amount of foot traffic that still comes to the offices to pay bills. So that would be the intent, still having that access to come up and put your bill in a drop box, as well as any day-to-day business, contractors, development, things like that need to come to us for operational reasons.
Okay.
Plan review, that sort of thing.
But primarily they are professionals as opposed to ratepayers.
Yeah, and the doors would be closed to the public but open through appointment.
Okay. All right.
I had a follow-up on your driveway one.
Follow up if you'd like while
Okay,
I look
and then
I'll review my notes and see if I have further questions.
I'll come back to you, but so currently there are 2 entrances to the former bank parking lot, one on each of the Fremont and Miramonte. You will be removing one of them, and all entrance and exit will be from the Fremont side. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm unclear if you're leaving the new property, are you able to turn both right and left onto Fremont? Because there's a couple lanes of traffic and a double yellow line, so I would think it's a right turn only out of this new facility. Is that accurate, or?
At the 1001 building?
Yes, at the former bank site.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone has to go right basically, because otherwise you have people going across a couple lanes of traffic in this, and we all know that's a very weird intersection to begin with.
Right.
Okay, and then on the other side, on the Miramonte side, the current proposal is right after the current bank property would be the new entrance into the yard, I believe. And is there any concern about, big trucks blocking Miramonte while they're trying to enter their key code or get into that yard? Because I think right now the entrance is a little further down, and like when I went by today, the gate was wide open. Is that typically open during business hours, or is it like each person who shows up has to open the gate?
So the way we design the gate is pushed back further from the sidewalk, so that way when a service utility vehicle pulls up to the gate, they're not blocking the sideway or any line of sight for pedestrian or vehicle traffic.
Okay, and did staff, do you guys feel that, I think it said something like 20 feet on the sidewalk, is that enough room for something like that?
Yes.
I just didn't want trucks sitting, trying to get in on Miramonte, and then like everybody going through that intersection, which is a pretty busy intersection during the work hours, not like messing that whole traffic flow up. So, okay. And then my last one about that was, so on the yard, are those gates going to now be one way? Like one is the in gate and then another one is going to be the out gate?
Correct.
Okay. And is there any logic behind which is which, or doesn't really matter? Is there some circulation flow you guys are trying to achieve?
Well, we were trying to maintain the circulation flow through the parking lot, so that way trucks weren't going both ways in either direction of those gates.
Okay.
So flow-wise, it made it easier, plus the existing traffic flow of the street, it made it easier to make it one way, so that way you don't have two directions of vehicles coming at once in that intersection.
Okay. I have some other questions, but I'll go back to you first, and then
I think I asked the questions that I had, so.
You're good?
Yeah, I may follow up on your questions if they're the ones I'm thinking are coming.
okay, I'll go to
We'll tag
others.
team you.
I'll go to others first, and then I'll come back to the other ones. Oh, you do? Okay, go ahead,
I
Richard.
just have one question on the follow-up on the gate from Fremont. It appeared to me from the picture that there's no gate, just an open fence. Is there actually a gate there on Fremont to the entrance to the to the old commercial building?
Recording in progress.
That's good.
Oh, shoot.
There is no current gate, but we're proposing a new gate to the
It will
1001.
be a locked gate, keypad,
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right, Susan.
I just have a couple questions at this point about some material choices. When I look at the storage building.
Get close to the mic.
I realize it's a storage building, but it looks very utilitarian to me with the asphalt shingles and the little bit of brick, which isn't all that attractive brick in my opinion. Was there any thought given to making that a little more architecturally consistent with what else is there?
Well, based on the comments we received, we were trying to make the storage building be cohesive with the existing building on 1001 Fremont.
The bank building?
So we wanted to have a relationship between both, so that way one building didn't look totally different from the other, even though it's owned by the same client.
Yeah, I'm not sure you perfectly achieved that, but that's my opinion. The other thing, at least looking at the drawings, that's a lot of fencing. And I know you're putting some trees in, and there seems to be some plantings, but are the plantings going to go up and actually cover the fence so it looks a lot more attractive than it does just this massive steel fence or whatever it's made out of?
Yes, our landscape architect picked several varieties of planting that would grow taller to block the fence, as well as plant types that are vining, so that eventually over time it would block the fence, the metal look of the fence.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's reflected in the drawings we received. So that's, okay, that's it for now.
Okay.
I'll let you go.
No, go ahead.
No, I don't have,
All right.
I will see what you say.
I'll see if Maris has anything, or I can go either way.
Yeah, I guess the only question I had was a lot of the comments we received was regarding the height of the fence. And so I just was curious what the rationale was from your perspective of why the 6 foot and then the 8 foot. Obviously, I think you need a fence, but is there a reason why it's that high at certain points?
Based on the comments we received from the planning, we couldn't go higher for the bank buildings, and we were allowed to do the 6 foot around the corner property.
Okay.
The parking lot adjacent to, we were able to raise it higher since there's more sensitive equipment within the area, and as also, just for being a corner property with the fence, it made a little bit more sense to have it lower, but still keep the security component for that corner property.
I see. So for security, you're more comfortable with 6 feet as opposed to maybe anything lower than that, like a 4-foot fence. Like you'd be most comfortable at 6 feet.
The higher, the
The
better.
higher the better
Um,
from your perspective.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Got it.
security is a concern.
Got it. Okay. That was all my questions.
Is it, I understand security for the yard because people come and steal copper or whatever, but for the actual office building, are there security issues that you guys have faced over the years, or?
Can I get one? If I can bring up one.
Oh,
Hi,
hi.
my name is Craig Bueller. I work in our security department at Cal Water.
Oh, great.
And we've had a number of security issues over the years. In 2022 we added a surveillance system, which has really done an excellent job for us for deterring a lot of the events that could have occurred. And we've had, since we deployed that surveillance system, we've had I want to say 73 audible challenges. And what an audible challenge is somebody comes onto the property and they're not supposed to be there, and it's a monitored system, so they would see them over the cameras, and then notify them that they're under surveillance and that law enforcement's going to be responding if they don't leave. So we've had quite a few of those, and prior to that, we've had several break-ins that resulted in thefts. So
At the office building?
no, not at the office building.
At the
but
yard?
at the yard right next to it.
Okay.
And our concern as far as security goes is we have a lot of, it is a utility. It is one of 16 areas of critical infrastructure. There's a lot of things inside the building that support our water systems through technology and that sort of thing. So we want to make sure that we're protecting that and protecting our customers and the public and our employees.
Got it.
So.
Okay, great. I wanted to follow up on the tree removals. When I was out there, I was trying to figure out which trees were being removed, because there were multiple trees that were labeled 1 through 7, I think. And I finally figured out it's mostly the trees on the perimeter of the former bank building. These are very large trees, quite mature. Some are, I think, 27 inches in diameter. And is there something wrong with them, or why are they being removed or proposed to be removed?
They're proposed to be removed and replaced with city-approved trees, but there was another security concern that someone would be able to climb those trees and hop over the fence. So we were trying to propose trees that were taller and then wouldn't provide a means of access to hop the fence, since security is a concern.
So I'm not sure I understand that. A taller tree is less able to be climbed?
The trunk would be skinnier, and then also the limbs or the branches would be skinnier, so it wouldn't support someone to climb the fence and hop over. Because currently, right now, the existing tree branches are very low. So if we were to keep those trees and then build the fence, it wouldn't deter anyone from climbing that fence to hop over.
But couldn't you prune the trees in order to solve some of those issues? Or I didn't study it that closely. I just noticed these are big trees. Los Altos loves trees, and taking them down is serious if there's not a really compelling reason for it. So I'm inclined to try and keep those as much as possible. But is there some other? There's no structure that's going there other than redoing the parking lot and putting in the fencing. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Can I follow up on what
Sure.
you're talking about? When you look at where those trees are that are scheduled to be removed, they're adjacent to the current bank property, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
they're all.
the security issue really is with the storage building, isn't it?
Well, it's with both.
And help me understand, because it looks from the drawings that there is a fence between the bank building and the storage building. Is that true?
There's an existing fence, correct.
Okay, so you presumably could leave the trees there, have the bank part of the building be a little, if someone wants to climb up, that's one thing, but they're not going to get to where the storage facilities are, which is the critical stuff that you're worried about, isn't it, or am I missing that? What's in the office building that is of concern or value to somebody stealing something?
I do not have the answer to that. If I could ask one of the Cal Water members.
Our concern is our records inside the building, as well as our IT architecture, somebody being able to go in and access our systems, as well as our employees on just a day-to-day basis, is what our concern is.
So it will be locked during the day as well?
I'm sorry.
The bank building will not be accessible to someone during the day without being let in?
Through, my understanding is through appointment that somebody can come in and access the location. But our concerns, just to kind of talk a little bit more about the trees, is we follow best practices when it comes to protecting our facilities, and so we have a standard as far as vegetation management is concerned, and that requires us to keep the canopies of trees at certain heights. One, we like to create a form of natural surveillance for our facilities, and that helps both public safety when law enforcement and the public to be able to see into our facilities and help us to protect them by reporting what they see and that sort of thing. The canopies on the trees can serve as more or less a ladder for somebody to get over the fence. Our fences are normally 7 to 8 feet, and 6 feet it would be considered a low fence for us, and so we try to balance the vegetation around the fences to give us the best security that we can possibly achieve out of it.
And with the new 24-inch trees that you're going to put in those locations, how long will it take them to get to a size that provides the openness you want, so taller, but also provides some aesthetic value?
That's beyond my expertise.
Fair enough.
Are there fences around the current office on B Street, or is it open to the public?
I'm not sure. Somebody else could probably answer that.
Yes, we have fences. We have a gate, and then the door for the front side of the building, and we enclose it after hours. But during hours, we do have it open for easy access for the employees.
I see. Okay. Do you have another question?
You follow from the fence?
Yeah, go ahead.
I understand the security, understand the fence height, but in the back of the property along the creek, you have a 6-foot redwood fence, which to me doesn't make a lot of sense. You have an 8-foot fence in the front on Miramani, where there's be less intrusion. I think if I don't want to think about if I was a bad guy or not, but I would go in from the backside and jump over the 6-foot fence. Have you thought, or maybe you want to think about putting an 8-foot fence, maybe with some razor wire? No, I'm kidding. On the back part along the creek area to prevent those people from that would be inclined to come over. That's the easiest way into that piece of property, along the creek bank, and climb over that 6-foot fence and you're in. So it's a suggestion, as a comment.
I agree with everything you said.
Okay.
I think if we were able to raise the height of that fence, I mean, redwood, we sometimes put in redwood fences, but normally it's driven by wanting to get along with our neighbors and just have a better, aesthetic look when it comes to that. And for the most part, we don't put in 6-foot redwood fences. We try to put in 8-foot redwood fences. We put two 2x12 kickboards at the bottom and 6-foot 1x6s on top of it. But a lot of times we end up at 7-foot. But
Okay.
we rarely go below that.
I may be wrong, but I thought the plans showed 6-foot redwood fence in the back along the creek.
Excuse me.
The updated plans show 8-foot redwood fence along the creek side.
Okay. and there's no neighbors on that side because you got like 75 feet of creek.
Yep.
And the first neighbor's on the other side of that, so you don't have a neighborhood issue there, but clearly understand the security. And you may think about wanting to change it to, if you say it's 8-foot redwood, you know.
I believe it is. I wasn't sure where the transition to 6 to 8 occurred. Is it at the yard basically when it goes up to 8?
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't find that in the drawings. Do you guys have a way to bring up the presentation, the packet, or no? Because I had a question about a specific page, L-4.1. It's the plans for the fences, and maybe they'll bring it up here in a second. But one picture shows a what looks like a prison fence, cyclone fence with razor wire, at a 45-degree angle, and then the other picture, which is in a green box, shows a nice wrought iron, fence that curves at the top. And I wasn't sure what that was indicating. Are you, which of those two fences are you proposing for the project?
It should be a straight fence with the picket. I know that the sheet that you're referring to is the landscape drawings.
It's the one with the Knox box on it. I don't know if it's the landscape plan. I don't know if, are you able to bring it up or no? And I can't tell you the page number because
there's Zoom limitations, but what you're referring to is the California Water Service Group, essentially standard specs. So the one that's circled in the green is what they're indicating for the second alternative wrought iron fence.
Okay.
Which is the tubular steel, which is pre-galvanized metal.
All right. So the plan is wrought iron along the whole yard, except the backside of the yard, which will be cedar or some wood, 8-foot wood fence.
Yeah.
And the wrought iron is also 8 feet.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me see. I had just one more, and then I'll come to you, Eric.
No hurry. No hurry.
Are there hazardous materials on site?
No.
Nothing. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have just a couple of things. One of the trees that's due to be taken out is tree number 5, which is not due to be taken out. How did it manage to escape the Holocaust?
I do not have an answer for that. Is it the tree on the Miramonte side?
It's on the Miramonte side, and in fact, it's basically at the end of the building, right, of the bank building, and would be the closest thing. So it's there are a couple of trees past it going down towards, but it's there, and I just was curious as to why that one is staying and the others are having to go, because what you said in the report, or what was said in the report, was that it didn't seem to the arborist that we would be able to protect those trees during construction. It's not so much that, and there may be other reasons to want to take those particular trees out, but that, so I'm just curious about how that one managed to make the cut or avoid the cut or whatever you want to say.
Okay.
But you don't know offhand.
No.
No. Okay.
I might have an answer. I think it's on the inside of the fence completely, because it's the one that's in the little parking island that surrounds the current exit of the building.
Yes.
And so my guess when I was looking at it is it was saved from extinction by the fact that it would be inside as opposed to outside. Is that a good guess or no idea?
I don't have an answer for that.
Okay.
I would guess the security doesn't care if people escape, only if they come in. Okay. And I made Nick laugh. The only other thing I have is that you mentioned in the report that Cal Water has been around since 1951, which is longer than Los Altos has been around. You have another building that's down from this that's at 1555, so you actually now have 3 properties in sequence there. And that building is in use right now, or is that, it's a tiny little office type building?
Yes.
It's in use, okay.
Yeah.
Was that the original 1951 building, or have you always been there, or did you move there later?
I do not have an answer to that. Do you want to Cal Water have it now?
I'll have to brush up on my history, but we've actually been around since the 1930s. The company itself since the 1920s. Through a series of acquisitions is how we came to be where we're at. And that building's really intended for about 10 to 15 people, and we have a staff of 30.
Right.
So
That was probably okay in 1951, but not now.
it was okay up until the 1980s, and that's how we wound up leasing the space at 949 B Street.
Right. I'm always interested in how things got to be in Los Altos because there's always a story and it's always confusing. So, who knows? Somebody won it in a poker game, and that's how you ended up with it. I'm not.
No, I hear the historical commission is recruiting people, Eric. So why don't we stick to the planning side of things?
But that's part of the plan as well. Okay, and that's part of the context of trying to understand what's going on with this development. Okay, all right. I think that answers all the questions
You good?
that I had. Yes.
All right, Maris, any more questions? All right, I think we're good on questions, right? So we're gonna move on to public comments, and I believe there's one card which is from Jim Wing. So, Jim, 3 minutes, please. Do we have the timer working? Oh, do you have handouts for us? Wow. Okay. Are you good on the clock? Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
He's good at sticking to it.
I'm Jim Wing, 57-year resident on Milverton Avenue, and my main concerns tonight, anyway, are the main safety fencing in basically the Fremont Miramonte corner, and it is the emergency vehicle access. On that drawing I just handed out is a solution to where if you take out only the short fence between the Fremont driveway and the creek, and then leave that open, and then you bring the current fence, you bring it in back to the building again, and also you put on the part of the parking lot, you put the gate to get into the rest of the parking. Now, what this will do, this will enable ambulance to drive straight in fast. It will likewise with the fire truck. It will provide access for the fire department to the fire hydrant and also the backfill valve. And it will provide access for the garbage truck to do the pickup. And then you only need, and they have about 4 parking spaces, and that's plenty for customers who come to the office, which is very seldom. Happen to have a neighbor who does it to pay her bill every month. But but one of them has to be a handicap. Now, when you're talking your trees, first of all, and you'll see on that map that the tail end of the property next to the creek and part of this land is covered by the Santa Clara Water District Conservation Easement. And so basically, they don't like to touch those trees. Now, those trees are also critical in stabilizing the steep bank on the creek. You know, I've experienced this in Redwood Grove. And you pull them out, and all at once you've got erosion. So they serve a multiple purpose. Now, what the water district would allow is if you put maybe a native plant garden along there to interface with the new pedestrian bridge and their landscaping. And this way you can solve the problem. I think one of their major problems is the restaurant workers park there because they have big shady trees. Well, you fence it off and they won't happen. There's no shade for the customer parking. So therefore, it's something you could leave open and still provide all the security that you need, and then the public has true access, mostly safety access. Now, a little bit of history just for kicks. I do go back quite a ways, and their prior location, of course, was over on University Adobe Creek. And it was about 1973 when Roy Lave bought the property as they moved out type of thing. And so therefore, and there is a conservation easement there, and it has worked.
All right, thank you. All right, are there other comments? All right, we will close the public comments. And I just had one follow-up question for the applicants. How would the garbage service work at this location? If the thing is fenced off all the time, how do they get the garbage?
They would have to get the gate to be open so that way they can pull into the existing trash enclosure.
But how would they do that? Is there like, like if they get there at 7 a.m. and nobody's in the office, they're just going to be sitting on Fremont waiting for someone to open, or what? Do you guys have a plan for that?
It kind of goes back to the question you guys had earlier about the keypad, and the function that would serve is what we have at other Cal water yards, where the property line and the gate is so far back from the operations facility, that becomes a call feature where they call. We have access to be able to push a button on a phone,
Got it.
open it up.
Okay.
And then the gates would be open, pretty much the front gate would be open during normal operating hours.
So they would go into that parking lot where the current trash enclosures are. I noticed there was a lovely hockey game sitting out there recently from the 70s or somewhere, and then they would leave through the closed gate, the same gate they came in through.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. We're going to move on to Planning Commission discussion and debate. Is there anybody who'd like to kick us off? Or I can kick us off if nobody wants to.
Why don't you kick us off?
All right, I will kick us off. I like the project. That building has been vacant for many years. I don't know what the number is, and so it's great to see it being put to use. And I like in general the design. I know there were some comments about the equipment shed or whatever it's called, not necessarily matching the building, but those are two very different purposes. And so I don't know that you run an office building like equipment shed. And there were other public comments about why do they have to put it there? And my read on the property was that was the deepest part of the property, and so the reason they were moving it into that area was to be able to go back a little ways. It's very narrow in other parts of the property. So overall, like the project, I was hoping that there wouldn't be a cyclone razor wire fence. I believe one public commenter referred to it as prison-like, if I am not mistaken. So that is good. My biggest objection to this is the removal of the trees, and I hate seeing beautiful trees removed, and especially the one closest to the creek, which is, I believe, the largest of all the trees. At I think 27 or 30 inches diameter. Even though they're non-native, I understand the security concerns, and I would hope there would be, if there is support from my other colleagues, a way to mitigate the security concerns while preserving the trees, because we really try in Los Altos to keep as many trees, and no matter what you plant there, those are 30, 40, 60-year-old trees. It's going to take decades for them to get to a reasonable size. And having just recently planted some smaller trees, 24, 36, 48-inch box, they're like 10 feet tall now. And these are, some of them I think are 80 feet tall. And so I would be supportive of keeping the trees, but I don't know if there's support from others to do that. But otherwise, I'm positive on the project, and I think it should move forward with that one proviso. So I'll turn it over to somebody else. Go ahead.
I second what Joe just said. Following up on the fencing, I'm not in love with the fencing. You have almost 300 feet of fencing on Miramani. That's a lot of fencing. And when the new police annex gets built across the street, it's probably going to be a fence site. So it's not a very welcome hello to Loyola Corners. Come off of the expressway, come down Fremont Avenue, make the turn, and then you've got fencing 300 feet all the way down to the post office, and then the post office has got another 100 feet of fencing. It's not real attractive. I did hear what you said about the landscaping and some vines crawling up. That makes me much more confident that you'll make it look nice, and think about, it's just not a building, that this is Los Altos and that it should look village-like, it should look nice, comfortable. I agree with what Joe said about the little building, storage building. It's just too darn bad you couldn't put it to the left and the back, away from the driveway entrance, because architects, it's just a little garage, single car garage door kind of thing. It's, you know, I understand, you need the storage, you need the place. If it could be relocated somewhere else, it sure make me happy, but other than that, I think you've done your best job with the building. The front from Fremont looks nice. I understand the fencing, security, and the gates and so forth. Thank you.
Anybody else? Susan?
Yeah, I'm still struggling with how unattractive I think that storage building is. And I appreciate it has a purpose, but I would encourage you to perhaps work with staff or encourage staff to work with you to just make it less, not so stand out because of where it's located, as a storage shed. And I understand that's its function, but function can also be more attractive than that, I would imagine. I would also echo, I think, what's been said. If there's a way to mitigate all that fencing, and maybe it is the shrubs, maybe it's the trees, but it is a lot of, I hadn't realized it was 300 feet. That's a good calculation, Richard. That's a lot of fencing. And if there's any way to break that up such that it's not this monolith. I mean, you notice like downtown on Main Street, that storefronts, even if it's one building, are painted different colors to break up, and you don't have a big expanse of a big building there because it just doesn't fit with our character. I don't know what you could do here to do that, but maybe staff could work with you visually to figure out ways to break up that huge expanse. I understand you need it, but I would just say try to be creative in that way.
All right, down here. Maris?
Yeah, I completely support the design and the conditional use permit for the project. I think, you know, the fence being as high as it is and the removal of the trees, I think it's unfortunate, but I have to kind of trust your judgment in terms of safety as to why those trees are being removed and why the fence is so high. So, you know, I think all of us would probably love a different kind of scenario for those, but I have to kind of trust your judgment, especially when it relates to security. I think for the next presentation that you have, I think it would benefit you to add more greenery on the fence, maybe add more mature trees, just so that the community and the council can kind of see what it might look like years from now, not just what it would look like at the beginning, because I think it will look nice after some time. So I think just having kind of a more projected look at what that corner condition would look like, I think would make everyone feel a little bit better. But other than that, I think I fully support everything in the project.
Can I just ask, will this be going before council?
No, it doesn't,
Okay.
unless
Yeah,
appealed.
this is it.
Then never mind.
Well, do you want to?
So I want to clarify to the commission. So if there's things that you would like to essentially ask of the applicant, so like for example, one things I don't really think Cal Water, from dealing with this is actually one of the first entitlements that came to my desk 3 years ago. So they've been working on this for quite some time. I think a reasonable negotiation is if the commission is concerned with the size and the growth of the maturity of the trees, you could request 36-inch box rather than 24-inch box. Sorry, I'm trying to negotiate for you guys so you guys don't get a delayed project, and give the commission the guidance that they need. But so those are things that are realistic to be able to approve with a simple motion of a modification to the approval, if that's something that the commission wants by majority, in order to not have to continue the project, because your action is final tonight.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, I join what my colleagues have said. I do think the project is good. It does occur to me that if the fence, the uprights had gilded spikes on top, it would be both decorative and security. conscious. But I don't think that you're going to do that. I do think that if we want, and I would support doing this with a recommendation of a larger tree to start, so that we get a running start, if you will, on developing. I too am confident that you will want to make this the nicest looking place that you can, while keeping it secure and, after all, the place where you do your business, which is the first priority for everybody. So with that adjuration, and a recommendation that we perhaps recommend that this be done with a 36-inch tree instead of the 24, as Nick has suggested. That's as far as we can go in recommending a change. So I would be willing to make a motion to that effect if there's support. And I think we need to find out about that before we do it.
Can I just ask Nick, so currently the new trees that are proposed, are they going around the perimeter of the same parking lot? That's where I'm confused is.
Yes, they are.
We're removing mature trees and putting in smaller trees, which arguably would result in you being able to climb over more easily. So that's the part I'm not understanding.
So they're adding 7 new trees and keeping 1 along Miramonte and adding 5 new ones along Fremont Avenue. And the new types of trees are more columnar. Like they were saying, the branching starts once more mature at a higher level.
Okay. And so like a currently it's proposed as 24-inch box, right?
Correct.
Which are probably like 4 foot tall, 5 foot tall, something like that.
Something like that.
And 36-inch box might be 5 to 6 feet tall or something like that. I mean, these are twigs, right? Like this is what they just put in my yard not too long ago, and it's going to be a while. Probably outlive me, but so I don't know. I'm really not excited about killing these trees. Maybe I'm channeling one of our former colleagues, but I don't think there's enough support for that. So what would be a reasonable size to have some coverage there in removing these very mature trees? And the creek one I don't understand at all. Like the creek one, it's quite tall. The canopy is way up high. So I guess someone could climb 30 feet and go out on a limb and then drop down into the yard, but that could also be pruned. But what would you guys suggest for some of those?
So larger than a 36-inch box, you have to use a crane to install. So it's not very practical.
48?
Yeah. So there's differing opinions about this, but a lot of arborists that I've spoken to say that once you get above 36-inch box, they actually don't establish as well either, because they've been in a box for so long.
Okay.
That the smaller box ones actually outpace and outgrow the bigger box trees.
Okay. But I believe there's a majority who are okay removing all of the trees.
Can I ask a clarifying question? So with the trees that are currently there, I understand the security issues. I know that many communities in their public parks basically went into trees and cut everything up about 10 feet high, so you didn't have a place to hide around a tree. Why can't they go in and trim these trees such that you really can't climb?
They could. I mean, it depends on the type of tree. What are good pruning practices? If you start just hacking it along the bottom, it could damage the structure of the tree as it grows and make it not grow well.
Has that been looked at as an alternative to taking the trees out, to trim them in a way that gives them what they need, which I totally get, but also maintains the trees?
No, they also told us that the trees along the perimeter is where the fence is going in. Mm-hmm. So not only the fence itself, but the footing of the fences would interfere with the existing trees. They're both in that same planter where the trees exist today.
So they don't think they can protect the trees and build the fence?
Correct.
Go ahead.
Are these trees that we're talking about on the Valley Water District property on their easement, or are they on the subject property sites?
They're along the streets, along Miramonte and Fremont.
I'm sorry?
They're along the streets, but on the private property.
Okay,
One I think is in the easement, the one closest to the creek. I'm not 100% sure, but it's pretty close to the easement if it's not in the easement.
Yes, and the arborist report says that the health of that tree is poor.
That one's poor?
Yeah.
Looked pretty good today.
They all do till they fall down.
Can I ask the applicant, do you have any opinion about trying to save these trees, or is it possible? Was it looked at? Was there any discussion, or is it purely the security concern that's overriding everything else? If you could step to the mic, that would be great.
It was mainly a security concern because they exist. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
The existing landscaping strip wouldn't allow enough room for the fence and to keep the existing tree. Because of that narrow landscaping strip that separates the sidewalk to the parking lot, we didn't want to create a interesting looking fence of zigzag going around each of these existing trees. So we felt it would be easier to remove the trees but still replace them with an equivalent, so that way the corner still looks nice.
Okay. Well, actually, to Susan's earlier comment, zigzagging it might actually break up the long expense. And I was thinking along Fremont, if it, occasionally ducked in with some planting there and then, went another 30 feet. I mean, I'm not going to try and design from the dais, but that's one way to break it up. And I'm sure there are others as well. But all right. Well, I think I know where we are. I believe you said you might have a motion.
I could make a motion.
Okay.
And it would include the recommendation for the 36-inch trees. Is that acceptable to you? The 36-inch trees? Is that acceptable to you? Yeah, okay, all right.
Can you, since you're accepting an amendment of a motion of the conditions of approval, can you please attest into the microphone that you accept that? Because you are legally bound now to do that.
Yep, we accept.
Okay, thank you.
Then I move that we adopt the resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Los Altos approving a design review and conditional use permit for the establishment of a public utility use and construction of a new 1,554 square foot one-story storage building at 1579 Miramonte Avenue and 1001 Fremont Avenue. This is resolution number PC 2025 whatever.
Do we just need one motion tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Steinle, seconded by Commissioner Ahi.
Yes. And we'll take the vote. Commissioner Mensinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Steinle,
Yes.
Commissioner Ahi,
Yes.
Vice Chair Roach,
yes.
and Chair Bedonato.
I will vote no.
All right.
Motion-
Carries 4-1.
Motion passes. All right. Thank you. I believe we are on to, if you guys want to go, feel free. We're just going to wrap up a few administrative things. Good luck with everything.
And thank you.
We're going to move on to commissioners' reports and comments. Any comments here? I just had one, which is the city is recruiting commissioners for all sorts of commissions, the historical commission, planning. So if any of you have friends who you think might be appropriate for the planning commission, I think Maris, you have what, 1 year left maybe? And I don't know what year you're in, six,
Yeah.
5, 6, something like that. Okay, so we need.
Yeah, we're all in the same.
Yeah, so we're gonna
Jim, how about you?
be in trouble here. So anyway, please encourage your friends. Any other comments from anybody? And then potential future agenda items. Anybody have anything? Oh, when do we have a next meeting planned or undetermined?
So the next scheduled meeting would be August 21st, but we don't have any items, so that will be canceled. But there are items for the September 4th and 18th.
Okay, I will not. I'm sorry. No, currently there's nothing scheduled, but that could change. I will be gone and probably unreachable at that time. So hopefully we'll have enough for a quorum for the September 4th. I'll be on a plane.
Stephanie, so both September meetings we will probably have.
Okay.
But we'll have 4 people because we won't have anybody joining us till October.
You won't have what?
The recruitment is in September, but the people actually start in October.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it might
So
be, yeah.
So if you're not here, all 4 of us have to be.
Yeah.
We're it. I'm sorry.
Are you gone?
The week, just the weekend.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I may be gone.
yeah. So, you obviously you can carry on without me. Just make it unanimous, I guess.
Richard will run the meeting.
All right, then I believe we are adjourned. Thank you all. 7:04. No record.